hi everybody, we're going to be going over Wednesday's workout. So for today, we're going to be starting with actually conditioning first. So now we're going to be going for an AMRAP for 6 minutes on weeks 1 and 2, and then in weeks 3 and 4, we're going to bump that up to 7 minutes. So the nice thing about this AMRAP is you're going to pick one dumbbell, and only one, and throughout the first round of the conditioning circuit, we're going to work all on the same side. In the second round of the conditioning circuit, I would then switch arms, and I would do all the exercises then on the other side. So the first exercise up is reps of 5. So everything's going to go 5, 10, 15. We have 3 exercises. First exercise is dumbbell snatch. So a dumbbell snatch, I'm going to start nice and tall, the dumbbell right there on my thigh. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start to let that dumbbell slide down my quad as I start to get a little hinge in the hips, start to get a little bit dip. And then once I reach that point where I'm getting close to that knee, then I'm going to be explosive. And I'm going to get that dumbbell explode up overhead, and I'm going to catch it in the overhead position. Okay, I'm going to do 5 on one side. So I'll show you that one more time. That dip, hips go back just a little bit, then explosive. Okay, you actually don't move a little bit faster than that through the pattern. I'm trying to show you what it properly looks like when that person is doing the nice tall dumbbell snatch. Okay, if we have people who can't do the overhead position, what we'll do instead is they'll hold that dumbbell on the side of their body, and they will go into that single arm RDL with 5 then on that one side. They might get through the round just a little bit faster. The dumbbell snatch requires a little more control and takes a little bit more time. From there, the second exercise is going to be 10. So same thing, I'm going to do on the right side of that body. I'm going to go with the overhead position for those that can. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to plant that right foot firmly in the floor, and I'm going to step back with the left leg, and I'm going to do lunges then on the left side of the body, and I'm weighted on my stationary leg. You want to think about keeping it nice and tall on that arm, try to get it locked out. When you start to bend it, then that deltoid comes into play. I want to keep that arm locked out. I want to load that core throughout that lunge. If I'm unable to go in the overhead position, you're more than welcome to hold it at the rack position, and then step back in that lunge pattern. If they have just a slight balance issue, get them to stay stationary and go into a split squat. If they need help, so they're a little bit more like in that obesity area, then grab them, have them be close to the rack, and then still try to keep that dumbbell in their hand, and then have them use the rack for that split squat. So that's the reps of 10. Reps of 15 are going to be single arm bent over rows. So I get hinged back, and I'm going to pull that dumbbell in tight to the body for 15. I'm going to make sure I'm engaging that lat. So I like to put my hand over there and feel that lat engaging. If they need help in that bent over position, they cannot get or comprehend this movement pattern, we can do the 3-point again with the bench, give them assistance so that back can stay flat, and they'll do 15. So we're going to do all on that right side. I get a round in, switch it, back to dumbbell snatch at the beginning. Again, up, overhead, back, always under control, then reset and go again. Okay. All right, everybody, we're going to be going over Wednesday's strength circuit. Follows the conditioning portion. We're going to be working for 25 seconds with 15 seconds rest. We're going to do 4 rounds, so straight set still, where they do the same exercise 4 times repeating. We're actually bringing back chin-ups. So we're going to be starting with banded as the hardest progression here, because almost no one can do chin-ups in our facility without some kind of assistance. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to have boxes set up here and over the other chin-up location. They'll bring the band and pull it down, goes just under the sole of the foot. Then chin-ups is palms towards me, shoulder width apart. I'll get nice and tall, and I'm going to take the other leg, wrap it over, and I'm going to pull myself up and make sure I'm pulling those shoulder blades back and together. And we're not really working on really caring about that chin up and over the bar so much as them getting up as high as they possibly can. I don't want them to think about pulling their chin up every time. I want to make sure they're just getting a proper pull and then back down and rest. They're going to burn out over 25 seconds and 15 on 4 rounds. They're going to start with maybe a black band. They might need to add more bands as the course of the 4 rounds go, and we'll just spray those down at the end. Okay? Not everyone, though, can be doing band-assisted chin-ups. Some people will have to do TRX chin-ups. And the way we do this is you want to make sure you stay tall. So you have your feet flat on the floor now, and you have to stay, you want to make sure we're leaning forward, eyes forward, because once I start looking up, I'm going to have a tendency to want to turn this into a row. So I got to think about turning that into a chin-up. That means elbows out in front, palms towards me, and focus on keeping that back nice and flat. So this one's going to have to be coached up as you're going to have people try to turn it
into this movement pattern more than an actual chin-up, where they have those eyes forward. And they can use their feet for a little bit of help there, but where the goal there is obviously to make it more of a pull. The final regression is a band lat pull down. So they can't do either version of the chin-ups. They grab the band, start at shoulder height, so they're already pulling it down, creating that tension, and from there to the thighs. And then back up under control, down to the thighs, arms locked out. When they start to bend those elbows, remember that's the tricep extension exercise, well that press down, we want to think about arms straight and engaging those lats over the course of 25 seconds. Now, once we're done with that station, they clean it. Station number 2 is going to be with like it's a cardio movement. We're also working on plyometrics. So the first progression of this is going to be with the plate. So we'll have the plate set out for you guys to use for the clients. And you can coach them up however you want here. The quick feet, jumping off and off. But you're going to think about moving those feet as quick as you can, up and off the plate. We can jump quick, back and forth from the plate. And then the final progression is to try to get people into jump ropes if they can. Now, if an individual really struggles at jump roping, and they're going to be wasting a lot of their time over 25 seconds with not being able to get jump ropes in, put them on the weight plate so that 25 seconds is actually effective. When we're coaching jump ropes, one thing you want to look for is arms. We don't want to see arm swings, okay? It's a wrist flick when we're doing jump ropes. Right? So think about keeping everything tight, and it's just a little bit of a wrist flick when we're doing the jump ropes. Right? So that's going to be station number 2. We'll have a lot of area for that since we're doing chin-ups and wall balls. So wall balls down here at the wall. Wall balls are a great exercise. It requires a lot like a thruster. So you grab a ball that the individual can throw up to that gray line. So that's the minimum that we're trying to hit there. And what a wall ball is it's a squat to a toss. And notice where I'm keeping the ball. It's at chest height. Then from there, I get down in a squat, coming up, good 3 line, catch it, and go. Notice how I'm catching it almost right at the chin every time, and I'm using the momentum of catching the ball and going right back down again into that squat. I'm not catching, stopping, and going. I'm trying to be as smooth and continuous as possible. You might have some people in your class that can't do the squat pattern, okay, or even the tossing. So have them do a medicine ball chest toss, right, as hard as they can over the course of 25 seconds, and they will get just as tired as those who are doing the wall balls. Right? We have space for 2 people, so that's why we're bringing the wall balls back. Now, exercise number 4, we're going to be doing hip thrusters. I'm going to show you the hardest progression. We're going to work our way back. The hardest progression, what we're going to try to get people to do is a single leg hip thruster. So when we're getting down on that bench, remember we're not holding ourselves up on our elbows. We want to relax, get our head and our shoulders on that bench. Then you're going to have those feet look like you guys are making a table. So the glutes on, body's nice and straight. I'm trying to look at my knees. Right? So I'm looking at my knees, and then I'm going to lift one leg up. I'm going to drop those hips, and then I'm going to thrust up. Eye contact instead of looking at your toe, looking at your knee, and then you're going to squeeze that glute at the top as you do that hip thruster. Some people will be unable to do a single leg hip thruster. So we're actually then going to start adding weight. So obviously welcome to add weight to the single leg if they're capable. But then from here, you can think about keeping both feet on the floor, dropping the hips, and squeezing hard at the top if they just have a little bit of an inability to do a single leg. And obviously they can start practicing just doing the body weight hip thruster and engaging the glutes then at the top. Okay, so that's exercise 4. Exercise 5, we're going to do some sliders. So the goal of this exercise is to try to get everyone to do knee tucks if we can. So that's to get those sliders on the toes. Probably recommend that they have their hands on the rubber for this one. Then from there, what you're trying to do is dig in, pull in, and then go back, knock out a push-up if they can. If they can't do a push-up, we're just concentrating on those knee tucks. Driving into the ground as well as pulling in. When we create that gripping sensation with the floor as we pull in and back out, it really does help engage the core, and obviously the quads are going to be firing as well. If you have people in your class who are unable to use the sliders and bring those knees underneath the chest while keeping the back flat, go ahead and have them get rid of the sliders, go into the mountain climbers where we're just bringing one knee then under our chest, underneath, and it's a little bit more slow and under control than it would be if it was a cardio climb.